finish the last part of this chapter. The first part was about motivation. The second part is about emotions. Now, this is one of these questions that you can answer many ways, right? How do you feel? Fine, happy, sad. Or, what is the physiological process that goes on that allows you to feel? Remember we talked about the limbic system that was here? Okay, there's different parts of your brain that regulate your feelings that are there. Okay? So what we want to talk about here is emotions and feelings. Emotions, what make the world go around, right? All the great writers and the stories that you read always have some human contact to it, some emotional parts to it that are there. The greatest adventure stories, any shows that you watch on television, okay, that there's a show, there's always an emotional quality to it in terms of relationships. Emotions, primary emotions. A fellow by the name of Psyc came up with something that he called was the emotional wheel. And this is in your textbook, the emotional wheel. You know what a color wheel is? When you have primary colors, then you mix the colors together and you get other colors, right? Well, what he did is do that, and he said the middle group here, okay, is primary emotions. Primary emotions of trust, fear, surprise, sadness, remorse, disgust, anger, anticipation, joy. Okay? What he said, these were the primary emotions that people have. Right? The primary emotions that are here. Then what he talked about, if you mix together trust and fear, you may get submission. If you mix together fear and surprise, you get awe. Surprise and sadness, you get disappointment. So when we talk and we say, oh, I'm so disappointed, what are you disappointed in? Well, it's a mixture of surprise and sadness that may get you that. Then when we talk about emotions, he talks about how there's less intense emotions and more intense emotions. Does this make sense, right? So some of you have joy. Well, less intense would be serenity. More intense would be woohoo, ecstasy. That's not the drug, by the way. That's a feeling that's there. Okay, surprise is a primary emotion. Intensified becomes amazement. Okay, decreased becomes distraction. That's there. Tell me something. Are there positive emotions and negative emotions? No. They're just emotions. Right? Anger is just an emotion. When we look at emotions, what we look at is constructive emotions and destructive emotions. Anger can be constructive or destructive. Anger, when destructive, is when you're hurting yourself or other people. Anger can be very constructive because it can motivate you to get you out of situations and change your lives. If I was going through a divorce, I'd probably have some anger, right? I'm going through a divorce, I got some anger, I'm angry at so-and-so, okay? Well, I can use that anger to be destructive. Usually I'll internalize that and hurt myself by maybe drinking too much, okay? Yelling and screaming, drinking too much, pounding on the ex's door in the middle of the night, getting arrested, okay? All kinds of things to hurt myself or somebody else. Or I can use it in a constructive manner by saying, you know, God, she really pisses me off. You left me, but you know what? I'm going to change my life. I'm going to make sure I'll piss her off. I'll make myself a better person. She always said this. And I'll use that as an energy to get myself out of the situation. So I'll take that anger, okay, and it's called sublimation, and I'll use it in a constructive manner. Later on, when we talk about Seligman's learned helplessness, we'll talk about dogs who he placed in a hopeless and helpless situation. And the first thing he did with them to do therapy with them to get them out, the first thing they did was get angry. And when they started getting angry, that anger externalized helped them to get out of the situation. Expressing emotions. Everybody feels emotions. Did you hear what I said? unless that part of your brain got taken out, okay? Everybody feels emotions, but since we're talking about the brain, some of you have more developed emotional parts of your brain, if you want to call it that. You react more, okay? I go with you to a movie, in the middle of the movie you're crying. Why are you crying? Because I'm so happy. I'm so happy about all this, okay? You get excited about things, like, oh, you get all excited and you get real emotional about things. Okay, you're just an emotional person. Other people are like, wasn't it a great movie? It was really good. Huh, what's going on? God, wasn't that sad? Yeah, I guess if you think about it. Some people live in their heads and they're more logical and rational. Some people are more feeling-based. But you have to say everybody feels. If I hooked you up to a functional MRI, okay, those areas of your brain would light up. But not everybody allows themselves to feel it, okay? But not everybody expresses it. So sometimes even those people, when you say, God, we've been in a relationship now for a year, do you love me? I love you. How much do you love me? About that much. No. Show me. Okay? Some people express it and some people don't. How do we view emotions? Well, we view emotions through body language, right? Non-verbals. Without it there. Do you watch people? Are you people watchers? Can you sit somewhere and not listen to what people are saying and try to understand what's going on between people? Just by their body language, right? As they sit and everything else. Some of you don't get it. Some of you have never learned this, okay? Let's talk to the guys right now. Some guys just don't know how to approach the approachable women. Okay, because not all women want to be approached, right, women? Okay, like, God, one of those jerks always coming around. Some people learn it, some people don't. Just by looking at someone's body language will indicate whether or not you are open or receptive. That's there. If I'm at a club, a bar, maybe even a church, I don't know, okay? And there's a woman, and she's sitting like this, and she's got a purse right here. She may be by herself, okay, and she's not making any eye contact. Don't waste your time, right? Basically, she's saying, leave me alone. Yeah, whatever. Okay, walk by. A little more open, that's there, right? How do you know when someone's interested in you? When you meet, sometimes you first meet somebody, how do you know if they're interested in you? Well, one of the things, watch their body language. If they're interested in you, they will mimic your body language. Okay? If I'm sitting like this, okay, and someone's across from me, I go, oh, that's pretty funny. Okay? You will, if you like the person, you will unconsciously go, oh, yeah, that is funny. Just like that. And if you want to mess with them, go, oh, really? Okay. And then pretty soon they'll do that. Oh, you'll do, oh, yeah, and they'll do this. It's an unconscious basis. You will mimic somebody you like. The first thing you need to look at is their pupils. Like we're really going to do this, okay? If the lighting is the same, right? We're not changing the lighting, okay? And if you go up to somebody, you're right in front of me. If you go up to somebody, right, and it's the first time we meet, I go, hello. If I look at your pupils, and if her pupils become enlarged, okay, they become engorged, they get large, that means she is having an emotional reaction to me. Remember when we did sympathetic part of the reaction, one of the things I said is pupils begin to enlarge. Now, what does that mean? In most situations, it means, I'm a little interested in you. Who are you? Or it could mean she's absolutely scared of me and frightened of me. This could be the same thing. But I figure that out. I watch that, okay? And then we'll then start talking with each other. And as we talk with each other, if my body movements start changing, if she mimics them, I'm doing okay. So far, that's there. If she talks and opens herself up, moves her purse out of the way to reduce that distance that's there, it's another indication that she's interested. There's a woman, and she's sitting on a stool, and she's like this. Okay? and she's talking to 4 guys, and each one of these guys are going, here, pick me, pick me, pick me. And they're all trying to impress her. Which is the one she likes? Okay? Her body language will usually indicate the one she likes. This part of my body may stay the same, okay, but this part of my body may change. So she's, a lot of women just kick their legs around like that. So as she's sitting there, what she's going to do, she'll talk, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I like this guy over here. Yeah, and she'll tilt her head a little bit. Oh, yeah, okay. It's a tilt of the head. That's a flirting behavior. Okay. She may also do a little flip. That's there. And then what she'll usually do is take this leg, and this guy will be talking, but her leg will be unconsciously going, you're the one, talk to me some more. No? I mean, who sits around and watches all this? Me, okay? But otherwise, it's very unconscious. People don't do this on purpose. I wouldn't walk into a room and go, let me see what your eyes are like. Right? But what happens is when someone's eyes dilate, we usually indicate that they're a friendly person and they like us. When people's eyes constrict, beady little eyes, we usually don't trust those people that are there. Okay? And we get that on an unconscious basis. Unconscious basis. Women, if you're with a guy, there's 4 women over here. I got to not do this towards anybody. Okay? Over there, and you have some guy, he's just kind of hanging out and stuff. He'll do the same thing. This part of your body stays stationary, okay, but this part changes a little bit. So this is the woman he likes, and he's talking to this one, but pretty soon he goes, yeah, okay, you're the one I like, right there. It's a movement of the pelvic area. I got movies about all this. If you're going, yeah, you're an idiot, Steve. No, this is all pretty accurate. Body language. All right, so am I closed? Am I upset? Am I just folding my arms? Okay? Well, a lot of you sit that way, right? I look around, a lot of you sit that way. You're just kind of comfortable that way. The tighter it gets, though, the more closed someone gets. Like, what do you mean by that? Right? You've watched people. What do you mean by that? As they tighten up. So you watch people, right? You watch their hands and everything else. Okay? Facial blends. What do we look at? We look at eyebrows, pupils, and mouth. Okay? As those begin to change, okay, the face responds that way. By the way, babies are wired to face recognition. From the moment they're born and they're able to see, which is not until about 3 months, okay, they're able to begin to view people and will respond this way. They love all you have to do, by the way, is just take anything, a piece of paper, just put 2 eyes, put the nose in there, the mouth, little eyebrows, and babies will respond to that. And you can change this types of things, and babies will also respond that way once they get to about 5 months old. They'll be scared of some people, they'll be upset, they'll be more friendly based on facial blends that are there. And we all do that as well. Right? I can't fake any of that. Did you hear what I just said? It's hard to fake this stuff, but some people are good at it. Some people are very good at it. Keep a straight face. How do you know when someone is lying? Can you look at them and know if they're lying? Oh, I can. How can you?
Their eyes.
Their eyes? What do their eyes do?
They start looking up.
They start looking up and around? It could be. Okay, what else? Voice changes sometimes. Your voice changes. What you're looking for, and you're right, what you're looking for is changes in normal patterns that are there. So if you're used to somebody and they're used to talking with you just like this, when they lie, they'll go, well, no, okay, and they'll look around. Or their voice will change, or their mannerisms will change, that the body language will be more forced that's there. It's hard to tell sometimes. I can probably bring in people, I can't bring them in anymore, okay, who are called sociopaths, okay, who can lie to every single one of you. Very few of you would realize they're lying. They do this so well. Do you know what a lie detector test is? right? They don't use those, they're inadmissible in courts and stuff, but you hook people up for physiological reactions. They're usually pretty good. But these people beat those tests all the time. Absolutely beat them all the time. They lie with what? A straight face, and you can tell by their body matters or anything else. Most of these people believe their lies, and if you believe your lies, what winds up happening is that you don't show it. You don't show it. We'll talk about those people sometime. What's going on there? She's so cute, okay? Well, they're flirting, right? Okay, he's got his pelvic area close. She's really pushing her pelvic area out there, okay? So, right, they're flirting. That's there. We see that one. What's this one?
She's definitely interested in him.
She's definitely interested. She's not. She's had it. My guess is they've been with each other for a while. And he's doing one of those, let me tell you something. And she's doing the old eye roll, right? Like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, this again.
Oh, it could be first time they met or second time. Or are they kind of interested? She's got one leg forward, maybe one back, kind of covered up a little bit. Right? He's got the old hand in the pocket that's there, kind of open. It's a beginning interest. I'd say beginning interest, right? What do you think about them? I think they've been out for a while. They've been going out for a while, and I mean, she's kind of in between his legs that are there. He's open, that's there. You know what? We've been going out for a year now. What else is there to talk about? So they're just kind of hanging there. That was for a movie, right? See that movie? Definitely upset with each other, right? Don't trust each other. Did you ever see these commercials? They make this baby have a big head. I mean, look how big a head he has, right? And when they do that, again, all the expressions that right, the eyes, the dilation, the mouth, the hand gestures, we pick this stuff up, right? That baby's telling us whatever, explaining something to us that's there. If you're a parent, you've seen this one a lot of times. Right? Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Here's a couple, okay, when she was alive, that was probably one of the most photographic couples. And if you go back and trace their romance, their marriage to this stage, you'll see it all, okay? She was really taken with him. He's the older man. It's so wonderful that I'm here with him. I'm looking up to him. And then after the years, it winds up with this. Couldn't care less, right, for each other. You know, her son and his new wife, and I don't keep up with their names, but those people are photographed a lot. They sure seem pretty close to me, okay, really connected. Theories of emotions. You watch, don't you? All those different pictures. This weekend, go watch people. See if you can figure out what's going on. All right, back to the theory. There are three different theories that seem to explain how we feel. One theory is called the James Lange theory. This is right out of your book, too. The James Lange theory, named after two different people who developed this theory, James and Lange. What they said is that there's an emotional stimulus, something's happening out in our world. Then what happens, we have an ANS arousal, autonomic nervous system arousal. Remember we talked about that in terms of sympathetic reaction? You're going to have an arousal level that's there. These people say, once you have something happen, you're going to have an arousal level and a behavior at the same time. Then you're going to feel fear. I know that just went over everybody's head, but let me give you an example. Examples are always better. I'm driving along in my car, okay, and I'm in the right-hand lane. Never try to drive in the right-hand lane, but I'm on the right-hand lane. Somebody decides to enter into the freeway. They pull in front of me real fast. Then they slam on their brakes. And it's kind of like, what do? Ah! right? What the hell are you doing? And then automatically, I have that autonomic nervous system arousal. It's called stress. And then automatically I whip the wheel over, probably get on the shoulder. And then after that's done and I avoid the accident, then I feel my heart beating. Okay, like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. This type of theory or motion probably explains when you don't have an opportunity to think about anything, when stuff just, boom, happens to you right away, and you're not thinking about it or reacting to it, what happens? It's automatic. You just, whoa, stimulus, you react, you behave, and then you feel. Then you feel. James Lange theory, there's an emotional stimulus, car pulls in front of me, an autonomic nervous system arousal. Oh my God, I could crash. A behavior, turn the wheel, and then I feel the fear. The example they use with this, while they say run, they say, make believe a bear comes into this classroom right now, and I'm standing over here. And a big bear comes in like, and I go, whoa! What happens is that I feel it, I run, and then after I'm over here and she gets eaten, then all of a sudden, then I feel the fear. The next theory is called the Cannon-Bard theory. And in this theory, there's an emotional stimulus. Information's coming into my brain through my senses. Here comes a bear. But all that information is sent through the thalamus. Remember that? Deep within the brain, there's the hypothalamus, which is below the thalamus, the last place for sensory information. And then what happens there, bear comes in, all that information hits my thalamus, and at the same time I have a little bit of a reaction of, it's a classroom, what's going on here? So I don't give it a lot of thought, but what happens is that very quickly my heart starts beating, I run, and as I run, I'm feeling this feeling. The first one is very quick, doesn't get me to react for survival purposes. The second one, a little unusual, and I take off, and I feel it all at the same time. Those of you in automobile accidents, it's the James Lange theory. All happens so quickly, then you feel later. Okay? Cannon-Bard theory would be something happens quickly, but you have a slight thought about it, and then here comes the emotions. The next one, the Schechter's cognitive theory, is probably how most of us experience emotions. There's an emotional stimulus. A bear comes into the classroom, and I'm sitting there going, what is a bear coming into the classroom about? And then I label that, oh, it's Halloween. I bet you it's somebody in a Halloween costume. My feeling would be, it's pretty funny, okay, and I'm going to stand there. Or I'll look, and the bear opens his mouth, and that's not a costume. So then I say, whoa, that's a real bear. What's going on here? I label it, it's a real bear. I then what? Feel the fear, okay, that's there, and I run at the same time. Most of us think about what happens, and it's the way we interpret the event that leads to our feelings. Famous experiment once done. Did you get all that, by the way? That's it. A famous experiment once done, and this was done many, many different ways at many different universities. What they did is they got two individuals, males and females usually, and they wanted to make sure no one was in a exclusive relationship or married or going out. They just wanted people who were single. And they said, what we're doing is we're measuring fear. And we want to measure your physiological reactions. So we want, the guy's over here, the woman's here. We want you to walk across this kind of rope bridge, okay, that's slung down this way. And when you go across, we just want to measure what's going to happen. When they got across, they started shaking the bridge. And what people did, when you're next to somebody and the bridge starts shaking, you automatically what? You grab. Sometimes you grab each other. Okay, so these total strangers grabbed each other. They stopped and they went, oh, excuse me. Okay, and they backed off. They shook the bridge again. They grabbed each other, grabbed the side again. Then they said, okay, that's part of the experiment, but we want to call you back again. And by the way, If you want to, you two can exchange phone numbers. They didn't have email back then. You can exchange phone numbers if you want and talk about when it's a good time for both of you to come back. So they were trying to put them together. What they really wanted to see is whether or not these people were going to become attracted to each other and how they interpreted that feeling of anxiety on the bridge. 70-something% of the people started going out with each other, okay, after this little experiment. Why did they do that? Some of them said it was love at first sight. I was on the bridge and I got this tingly feeling and I really got excited when I was seeing you. We kind of grabbed each other. That was so cool. Was that love at first sight, a tingly feeling that you're interested in? Or was it just fear? I mean, the bridge is shaking. You got anxiety going. But what did they do? They labeled it a different way. When you label something, then that may lead to your feeling. Therefore, in the contemporary model of emotion, we have an emotional stimulus, we have a cognitive appraisal of what's going on, and then we have everything together. Right? But you think about it. If you believe this, then you think your way into depression. You think your way into anxiety. You think your way out of it, change the label. Change the way you think, you change the way you feel. Interesting thought there, huh? For one point, Schechter's cognitive theory emphasizes the influence of what on emotion? Labeling and interpretation, learned helplessness, parasympathetic arousal, or personality factors. Anybody going to take the test before Tuesday? Okay. Let's do this quick. Get your answers in. I need one more thing to do. So, everybody got their answers in? All right. The correct answer is labeling and interpretation. Very good. Intelligence is just an extra thing. Let me give you a couple more questions before you test, since some of you are going to be taking it first. Buford complains that he can play his tuba beautifully at home, but each time he tries to play at the local talent show, he sounds like a bull elk in rutting season. Okay? His problem is explained by what? The Yerke-Dotson law, the effects of homeostasis, habituation, or biorhythms? Think about it. When he's by himself, he's relaxed, he plays the tuba very well, but when he's in a pressure situation, it's an application question, a little higher order thinking. You need to apply the information that we covered to your answer. A little harder question. All right, why don't you put your answers in? Guess your guesses at this point. Okay? All right, so 47%, right. Yerke-Dotson, because it's a complicated task, right? When he's relaxed, low arousal, he does well. The task is complicated, his arousal goes up, he doesn't do as well.